Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, 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 welcome. Arsenal have won a game. Yes, Arsenal have won a game, which seems kind of insane to think about, but it is true. Preseason game, 3-0 against Athletic Bilbao, Emirates Cups winners. That counts for something, right? Because we have won 2 trophies in preseason, 2 trophies, the Singapore Cup and the Emirates Cup. So basically, Arteta is staying for 10 more years by the looks of things. But yeah, anyways, this game actually was somewhat better. I'm not gonna lie, this game was better. You could argue that the first half performances, especially, was kind of have to admit the best performance we have seen so far. Not gonna lie, we have seen this first half performance is the best performance we have seen so far in preseason. Gyokeres with a fantastic headed goal, yet despite the fact all the Sesko sexuals and all these sub-gunners say Sesko cannot head the ball. Zubimendi, first time cross, phenomenal, just on the plate in the perfect area. Gyokeres makes a fantastic run, 1-0. Saka scores, Martinelli gets an assist and everything. Like, it's great. I'm not gonna lie, winning is great. Who would have thought that winning is great? But still, I cannot shake the feeling, and it also was quite evident that we are not ready for the season. Like, let's be real. Despite the fact that we won, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, you could see that we were a bit more direct. We were playing a bit more through the middle and everything, right? But at the same time, it's not enough. We still need signings. We still need to get rid of Deadwood. We need still improvements, and the style needs changes still overall. So it is what it is, I guess. But we're going to talk about all that during today, of course, in the stream. Like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new, of course, almost at 850 subscribers. Smash the likes and leave your thoughts down the live chat. And obviously, we're going to go from there. Big up Marlon. Golazo. Yeah. Golazo from Gyokeres. Saka Gyokeres, yeah, they did good. And I'm not gonna lie, they were quite good today. They were very, very good. Gyokeres, the debut goal for Arsenal. Obviously, if he scores that in Premier League at Old Trafford against United, it's gonna hit 10 times more harder. Let's be real. But for now, it is, yeah. Again, sorry, yeah. Like obviously, we will see what is what during the season. But so far, you could see some glimpses of hope. And to be honest, it looked like we actually started the game in 4-2-3-1, which was quite interesting because Arteta doesn't do that too much. And actually, with Calafiori playing as a left back specifically, because Maslow-Skelly didn't start to some weird turn of events, but when Calafiori starts, we actually play other way around, which actually show that we can be more attacking, more interesting, and more dynamic, because Declan Rice actually wasn't going that much forward. He was actually dropping a bit more deeper. And Zubimendi was the one who was going a bit more forward at times, which allowed us to be more efficient and more direct in passing and creativity, which allowed obviously Martinelli to get chances. He still looked shit, I'm not gonna lie, but it is what it is. He looked better, but it wasn't the greatest. Gyokeres scored. Saka wasn't hampered on the right wing. He was more open. He had their left back, Luke, on toast, which was quite nice on many occasions, of course. But overall, yeah, with Calafiori playing as a left back, when he pushes forward, Declan Rice kind of dropped a bit deeper, and actually Zubimendi pushed up a bit, which was a different dynamic we don't see with Maslow-Skelly, because when Skelly inverts, Rice just goes up. And that small change, to some extent, actually made us more direct, as I said, direct, dynamic, more efficient. And there were some hopes. Let's just put it that way. There were some hopes. We saw some glimpses. If we could get rid of Odegaard and put, for example, Eze in that position, we would be even more dangerous. Obviously, for me, left wing, number 10 still are a must. Also a left back, if you ask me. But overall, today's performance, especially in the first half, before we made the substitutions, yeah, I would argue it was the best performance we have seen in this preseason so far, which was a nice change of pace, especially given the fact that exactly in a week we played the first game in Premier League against United at Old Trafford. So there are some hopes, but obviously still lots of work needs to be done. And 3-0, yeah, big up BBK. Go subscribe to BBK Sports, show him some love. And he called it in the comments under yesterday's stream. He put in the comments, he said that Arsenal are going to win 3-0. I said 2-1, but they actually won 3-0. Big ups to you. Big ups to you. Exactly. F every Gyokeres hater, man. Like he cannot head the ball. Hold that expression. Gyokeres can't score headers, almost scored two, but can't score headers. Exactly. That's the nuts part, because all the Sesko sexuals, as I said, and top Gunners said, oh, but Gyokeres cannot head the ball. He is not prolific in there. He scored a header, a very amazing header. Let's be real, with that whip with the first time from Zubimendi, fantastic cross. And he just redirects it straight into the goal. Diving header, hits the post. He had the chance to even score a hat-trick, because even before we scored, he had a chance. Yeah, he hit it into the ground, unfortunately. But if he scores that header, of course, and that post goes in, he scores a hat-trick. Let's be real. So this is what we needed. Obviously, we are not going to look great, I would assume, for at least a month still, because we haven't played with a dynamic number 9. We haven't played with a proper number 9 up top, ever. Jesus is not it. Aubameyang was not it. And Lacazette, as decent as he was to some extent, he was also not him. So it's going to take time for our team to adjust to these situations where we actually have a proper bagsman up top, and we just don't need to basically play only through Saka. Like, that is going to take some time. But we saw some glimpses, in my opinion, today, that it is possible. Our team can change. Arteta can change. But for us to actually go, arguably, to challenge properly in all 4 fronts where we're going to play, Arteta needs to change even more, and quite drastically as well. We'll see what is what during the season, of course, how we adapt, how we change the situations. But overall, it was actually decent. But at the same time, most of the time when I was watching the game, it still didn't convince me that we're going to go and do great at Old Trafford. Because last season, they nullified us from open play more often than not. And if United play similar way, if they get their signings done before the season kicks off and they actually play them and utilize their plan like Amorim envisions it, from which I most likely would expect, it's going to be tough times. Like, there are quite a few things that doesn't convince me as we are going into Old Trafford game next week, that we are actually going to be convincingly, I would be confident going into that game that we're going to get a win. At the same time, there were some glimmers of hope. Of course. But only time will tell. Obviously, Max Dauman didn't play. He was on holiday. But that Kai Havertz goal, that Kai Havertz goal, the way he ran through through 3 defenders, one-on-one, falls to the ground, bodies opponent off, slots it far corner. Like, what more can you ask? What more can you ask? This is something you would expect Gyokeres to do almost every single game. And this is something Havertz did today. And this is for all the haters that think I'm toxic and negative. I just gave praise to Mikel Arteta. I'm giving praise right now to Kai Havertz. So you can put that when the sun doesn't shine. Havertz actually, overall, he didn't have great performance, but the goal, the way he moved, the way he ran through everyone, bodied off the opponent, and off balance managed to shoot it far corner across body and score the goal. That actually was fantastic. That actually was quite fantastic, to say the least. Saka was not shackled to right wing. Yeah, that was also nice to see. There looked like there were some changes, and it worked. Ironically enough, that some stuff that we were saying for over a year, 2 years right now, Arteta did some of those things, and it worked. Who would have thought? Who genuinely would have thought? We just need a left wing to compete front 3. We need a number 10 as well. And Martinelli still has to go. He wasn't great. Calafiori was decent. Big up, Liam. Haven't seen you in a while, my guy. Big up, Liam. Hope you're doing well. Gyokeres only scored a header. That's concerning in a way. We need him to score from open play, but that was from open play. The header was from open play. We crossed the ball in and he ran onto the ball. And the other chance he had, obviously, it was again open play cross, and he scored and he hit the post. Like, it's gonna take time. No matter how you look at it, it's gonna take time. This team specifically, this team we have right now, doesn't know how to play with an out-and-out number 9. In their specific teams before we signed them, yes, they have played that. But overall, this team hasn't done it before. And it's gonna take time for our team to adjust, for Mikel Arteta to even adjust, because as we have been talking about this for years, Arteta hasn't had a proper number 9 up top. So again, it's gonna take years. It genuinely is gonna take, not years, but it's gonna take time. Sorry, it's gonna take time for us to adjust. But it could happen. Zubimendi was great today. Yeah, Zubimendi was fantastic today. Zubimendi was shining all over the place. I would argue he was man of the match today as well. The passing, the distribution, the defensive efforts, and everything. It was quite fun. It was quite amazing to see. Obviously, it's against Athletic Bilbao. We will have to wait and see what happens when we play, for example, against Villas and everything and all this stuff when he gets high end pressed, right? And how that happens against low blocks when we play those in Premier League. But definitely Zubimendi was brilliant today. Fair play to him and fair play to how everything happened. Martinelli runs like an ostrich head in that sand, and Odegaard was imposter today. He needs competition in his positions, and it says that, yeah. Martinelli, I think it's not it. Odegaard also is not it. Odegaard got a pre-assist. As many top Gunners like these stats, Odegaard got pre-assist because for the second goal, with his weak foot, by the way, he lobbed it over defenders' backs. Martinelli ran in and then gave it to Saka, but he did it with his weak foot. That was arguably the only good thing he did during the game. Yes, he tried some through balls. Yes, he tried to do something different. But overall, you can see that he lacks strength and he lacks some certain abilities. And it is very frustrating to watch, to say the least. Very, 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 very frustrating. Exactly. Don't let this win paper over the cracks, because ultimately, at the end of the day, we still need a lot of work to do. We are not ready for Premier League. For the first 6 games, looking at the schedule that we have, I still believe we are not ready. Time only will tell. Time only will tell, but so far we don't look ready. We genuinely don't look ready. Big up Hendon. Big up Hendon. Hope you're doing well. While watching, hit that like. Yeah, people. Hit that like. Subscribe if you're new, almost at 850 and all this stuff. So smash the likes and subscribe, people. And leave your thoughts about the game in the chat as well. Odegaard, yeah. What kind of a real coach would start? Well, Arteta. Nothing in today's match gave me optimism for the Old Trafford game. Club Atletico played as gracious guests and didn't go full pelt for this match. Yeah, they were a bit off. I'm not gonna lie, they were a bit off. Obviously, their season also kicks off very, very soon. But ultimately, yeah, they never throw us a proper challenge. What's its face? I had it somewhere saved. Where is it? Because this is all for the people who glazed Nico Williams. Everyone who said Nico Williams. These were Nico Williams' stats against Arsenal this game. Because this is why I didn't want Nico Williams at Arsenal. Because he was not him. And this is it. 63 minutes. He played 63 minutes. 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 shots on off target, 0 key passes, 0 long balls, 0 crosses, 0 out of 2 successful dribbles, 0 out of 1 aerial duels, and 9 times possession lost. And this is how Nico Williams plays in general, many times. Because Nico Williams is one of those players, similar like Leao, for example. When he's on fire, unplayable. But when he stinks out the place, this is the performance you see on your screen right now. You are getting out of him. And that is something we cannot realistically afford. We realistically cannot afford as an Arsenal team, and a team that is challenging for a title, should be challenging for a title, and all this stuff. So yeah, it's quite in those terms. It's quite interesting, to say the least. And give Gabriel. Big ups also joins. Was slight change. Yeah, it was 2 in the pivot with rotations. Rice had loads of touches in different spaces. Split CB center backs. Interesting rotations. Less Raya on the ball. Yeah, exactly. It was changed. It was changed not quite a bit, but it was changed a bit, and it looked better. And it genuinely looked better. The thing is, though, it's insane that we see these changes right on the cusp of Premier League kicking off. We didn't see these changes against AC Milan, Newcastle, Spurs. We see it right now. And you could not help but wonder, maybe we would have started some of these changes, let's just say, earlier. Let's just put it that way. Big up TK. Hope you're doing well. Go subscribe to TK. I don't know if he has hit 100 subscribers, but go show him some love. Zubi-doo. Man of the match, 100%. He was fantastic today. Havertz had a great run. Yeah, Havertz had a great run, and that goal was top class. It was. I'm not gonna lie. At the same time, I just hope that this goal he scored doesn't warrant him a start at Old Trafford. That is the only thing. Let's hope these changes stick and Arteta doesn't revert back. Facts. I just hope that Arteta doesn't get scared of these changes, that we looked a bit different compared to his usual pragmatic, boring football, and he even changes more to some extent. So we look even more dynamic, because you could see that there are still some places where we could change certain things and it would even work better. But that is up to Mikel Arteta whether he decides to do it or not. Good goal from Kai, good strength competition in the squad really works. Yeah, it really works, because the goal Kai Havertz scored, essentially I would expect Gyokeres to score, right? And everything. And at the same time, I would expect Havertz to basically hit row Z. But it worked to a charm. Props to Kai Havertz for the run, for shoving off the defender and scoring with his strong foot and everything across body. Great goal. Genuinely great goal. If he could do this semi-consistently, I would be all over. I wouldn't be cussing him. I wouldn't be annoyed with him. Let's just put it that way. I'm not through the middle, not just crossing it. Yeah. Through the middle, not just crossing it. Yeah. I get it. I understand this. Yeah. Because there were some points, especially until we scored the first goal, it was literally like watching the Inter game. We crossed so many times, it was painful to watch. It genuinely was painful to watch. We need to kind of remove that from our. I just say we need to remove that from our repertoire to that extent. All good, Liam. Don't worry. All good. Gyokeres can't score headers. Yeah, that's what the Arteta sexuals told us. Here we go. He scored a header, hit the post and everything. Zubimendi won't get that. Yeah, that is the only thing. Zubimendi today, he had quite a bit of time and had a bit of pressure off of him, given that we played against Spanish side. Now, if this translates that he can actually adapt and he has time and space again in Premier League, especially against high-press teams like Liverpool, City, Aston Villa, Newcastle, teams like that, no problem. But if he gets eaten alive in those games, it is going to be curtains for Arsenal. Because we saw how Man United basically ate Real Sociedad alive in the Europa League last season. And Zubimendi was one of the catalysts who got eaten alive basically by Casemiro. So there are still questions that need to be answered. And in a week, we will see some answers to those questions. Time only will tell. But if we can manage to kind of adapt, and everything will be great. Zubimendi was brilliant today. Yes, fair play. Odegaard needs to get sold or something. Odegaard is not it, genuinely. Martinelli out, Odegaard out, Arteta out, still don't give. Yeah, I'm still on that. Odegaard is not it, and Martinelli as well anymore. AFTV, stop gun transfer. No, it is. Have to talk about it. Have to, like, it is what it is. Who realistically would you want on left wing? Well, Kvaratskhelia is gone, so that is not going to happen. Let's be real. Rodrigo is just a pipe dream. That is literally a Narnia level scenario, and I don't see that happening whatsoever. I'm not gonna lie. If it happens, I'm gonna be over the moon, and I will be super happy. But personally, I just don't see it happening. For left wing, at the moment, currently, obviously, players like Desiree Doué, Barcola are off the table, and it's very hard to think of one. Leao, maybe, but again, if he is great, he's great. He stinks. Maybe Lookman, maybe Nusa, but Nusa is still young and too raw, in my opinion, as a starter. At the same time, we have to take a punt on someone. We cannot have Martinelli on 180 and do nothing on the pitch. Say Trossard does more coming off the bench or as a starter, at least on stats-wise. And sub-Gunners love a good stat, right? Leandro Trossard, even starting or coming off the bench, puts up better numbers than Martinelli does. So that already is a big worry when a 31-year-old is doing better than your so-called one of the future biggest left wingers and everything, especially after that season that Martinelli put up in 22-23 season. So I would say maybe Nusa, maybe Rodrigo, if that could happen. Maybe Barcola, if we could genuinely get him somehow. I would say Lookman is still an option, in my opinion. Yildiz would be an interesting option as well. But ultimately, the winger market is very thin because all the good left wingers play for the big clubs, and it's very hard to get rid of out of them of those clubs, because most of the clubs that have proper left wingers are winning clubs. They have the mentality and they have won stuff. So it's a really very hard stuff to think about. Leao is clear of Nico. Yeah, Leao is clear of Nico Williams. I'm not saying that he's not. At the same time, Leao is like Nico Williams many times, because if one of those is on fire, they are untouchable on their day. However, if they play awfully, You just saw the stats. They are not great, and they are one of those two. Basically, they are not in the middle. They're hot or cold. And it's genuinely Arctic cold or sun hot. There is no in between for them, which for me is a big issue. Only Kvaratskhelia, dude. We missed the boat on that one last January. Do we think this is Arteta's last season if he don't win nothing? His last season should have been a year ago, year and a half ago, if not more. For me personally, it was a year and a half ago. I'm going to be honest with you. For others, they are still on the fence. Arteta should be going if he doesn't win anything this season. But, well, you know how that tends to go. Big up YouTube Census. That was much more Arsenal-like performance. Now for United, yeah, it was more encouraging compared to the previous games we have seen in preseason. This was the most encouraging game I have seen. But still, yes, I'm happy that we won. Good vibes going into the season. At the same time, still more to be desired in those terms. Let's just put it that way. Still leaves more to be desired, to say the least. Let's do it. Oh, for fuck's sake, what is this? Let's see. Give me a second. I almost there. Big up Hyper Protagonist. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. I see Rasta Stocks in the chat. Yeah, big up. Gyokeres scored today. Great header from Zubimendi's assist. Yeah, 1-0 made it. Great header. Hit also a post with a header and everything. So good. Nico Williams on a 300 grand. Yeah, no chance in hell. No chance in hell we would pay that. Big up Biggie. Yes, I did see the game. I watched the game. Yes. 2 years ago, we were playing good football, lost the league and got scared, hence why it's been poor. Yeah, Arteta got PTSD, he shit his pants, and it's been painful ever since. Do I win it 2021? Arteta got scared. Yeah, 100%. Big up, Rasta Stocks. Big up. I'm looking forward to the game next week. I'm looking forward as well. We'll see what is what. It's going to be Sesko versus Gyokeres derby. If one of those guys scores the winner, it's going to hit like crack. It just depends for which team it's going to be. At the same time, I can see it being a 1-0 or a boring 1-1 draw as well. Like that game is as unpredictable as the weather to some extent, result-wise. Performance-wise, I'm not too excited to see that. I'm going to be honest with you. Zubimendi wasn't even Sociedad's best player. But yeah, to be honest, if you look at Real Sociedad's midfield, when Merino even was there, Brais Mendes was better. Zubimendi, obviously, for me, I would say was better. That number 10, I forgot his name. What's his name? I'm blanking on his name. Also was better. But yeah, I would say Merino was the worst one of their midfield. Brais Mendes third, and Zubimendi was the first one. That's my opinion. Take you as you will that. Lookman, Nusa, Rodrigo. We are not getting Barcola or Rodrigo, so Lookman and Nusa could be options. Number 10, Simmons is going to Chelsea, so that's not happening. Eze could obviously for number 10. For me personally, it would be Aleix Baena. Personally for me, but from Villarreal, but he's now at Atletico Madrid, 42 million, and Arsenal decided not to sign him. That for me still pisses me off. Dude. I see. Yeah. Gyökeres scored. He's a cam, but Man U played him as a DM. Yeah, he's a boss, as they like to say, box crashing number 8 and all this stuff. He made Liverpool win the league. He has to go. Yeah, it allowed everyone to win the league except Arsenal. Brahim Diaz would be great at Arsenal. I like Brahim Diaz. I like Arda Güler. If I had to choose, obviously, I would say Arda Güler, of course. I don't think my manager is going to play Benjamin so early, but anything could happen in football. True. I get it. That Benjamin Sesko thing will be very interesting. So the question is for you, though, Rasta, right? If this week, right, next week, basically, it happens and AC Milan sign Rasmus Højlund on loan, let's just say on loan with obligation to buy, who is going to start for you at striker then? Like, if we talk seriously, Chidobe Martin? Or who is going to start for you at striker then? Atletico are a weak team. They lost all their preseason games, even to a team from the Spanish second. That means nothing. They are not a team that if we won, we would say we have a good season. Yeah, I get it. I'm not overhyping this. it was nice to see Arsenal have some changes and a better performance, but I'm not saying it was fantastic. It was amazing. I still believe we are nowhere. We are not ready for the season. Nobody's hyping this up like it's the best thing since sliced bread. He was better than all the. Well, big up Vasul. Hope you're doing well. Big up Vasul. Zubi was so good today. Today he was good. Saka also was very free today. And let's be real, in Premier League, both of those things are not going to happen. Zubimendi is not going to be as open. He is not going to have as much time. He's not going to be as that little of a pressure. Saka also won't be as open. He will be triple, quadruple teamed on even. So until we see all these things play out again in Premier League, we cannot make judgments, because we all know that there will be extra attention in Gyokeres. There will be double, triple teams on Bukayo Saka. Zubimendi is going to get pressed because previous games in history of Sociedad, at least, have shown that he doesn't do sometimes well in those circumstances. So definitely there will be some things to overcome, and time only will tell whether he and Arsenal can do it or not. That wins you games. Yeah, Arsenal, yeah, they still would cook us. Big up AFC always. Big up, hope you're doing there. Big up, happy with the win. Yes, with the serious business starts next week away at Man United. Zubimendi was bossing it, but let's see when he really matters. Exactly. Let's see when it really matters, when the press happens, when the stress happens, and when the pain happens. Because no matter how you look at it, like, let's be real, it's different. It's totally and utterly different. When you hit Premier League and you play against old school type of physical football, it definitely hits different. And also we need to overcome low blocks. And that is still one of the biggest problems if you look at Arsenal. It's been 6 years almost Arteta in charge, 40 years since we've been facing low blocks, and we still have no idea how to beat them. And if Zubimendi can help us with that, that is fantastic. Because let's be real, I would say about 70% of the games Arsenal are going to play next season are going to be against mid-low blocks, and we will have dominant possession. And Zubimendi could be good in that, but unless we actually adjust our system to cater to that and we actually change things, I don't think it's going to get that much better. Let's just put it that way. Then it has to be Benjamin. Asmus has to go. Exactly. Because I'm reading today that Asmus Højlund is going to AC Milan. Could be going to AC Milan, on loan with obligation to buy, or he also wants to return to Italy himself, apparently. And that leaves you without a striker, because I think Zirkzee is still, or Zerkamp, as you call him, or Zerkamp, whatever, is still injured, if I'm not mistaken. So you have only Chidobe Martin, and I don't think Amorim is going to do that to you. I think he's actually going to put Benjamin Sesko there. I kind of believe so, unless he pulls a weird move and puts, I don't even know, Garnacho at striker or something stupid like that, or plays Bruno Fernandes as a false nine straight into there, something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but you need a striker, and that is for you the biggest issues there in those terms. But yeah, next week it's United versus Arsenal, and it's Sesko versus Gyökeres derby as well. The mutants will be saying Arsenal are back. Oh, they already are saying it. They already are saying it 100%. Let me check this, because I'm very curious how this goes. Wait. I need to see what top Gunners are saying. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. You just seem really... I start around... I'm just checking what top Gunners are saying online. Only Yuri and Timber can stop Viktor Gyökeres. In situations, tell me who can stop him. One of the tweets from Top Gunners, people. It's insane. It's insane, but overall, it is what it is, I guess, in those times. Now, where are we? Good win, but only preseason. Exactly. Big up at Jerry. Good luck with signing Omorodion and the rest of the guys. We need to learn how to fight 5 at the backs, or 3 or 4-4-2s, 4-5-1 formations. We don't know. We really struggle against 5 at the backs. when opponents pack the middle in 4-5-1 and situations like that, or 4-4-2 that transforms into 5-4-1. We struggle against those like no tomorrow, and we need to figure out how that happens. Oh, big up AFC always. Big up. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. What a nice gift from Arsenal to you to win at least one game during the preseason. Big up to you. Big up to you. Big up to you. Big up, big up. Enjoy your vacation in Cyprus as well. Big up AFC always. Always, always, always. No pun intended. Saka alone can't buy him. Yeah, that was nice to see Saka for a change in those terms. Besabra. Yeah. Bless up AFC always. One thing that is good is the Gyokeres goes to the left, and last season we played maybe 30% from the left. Yeah, and 45 from the right, and maybe it will be more even. That is the hope, because we are so lopsided, it's actually painful to watch. And the more Gyokeres and even or someone goes to the left, more dangerous that is actually a threat to the opponent, the more their attention is gonna shift from right side to the left, obviously, which means Saka will have more open spaces, room, and less defenders on him, which obviously would help and should help us in the attack. We saw some changes. That's the better part. Hopefully there's more. Exactly. We saw some changes. It worked at times, but you could see that our team wasn't somehow accustomed to them. They were a bit like Bambi on ice in certain situations with these changes, but if they kind of figure those out and we actually can add more changes, it's going to happen. It genuinely is going to happen. Yes. My Twitter channel is mine. Well, there's a hyphenation in the between. There's like Latvian _Gunner. Like there's in between a line. Yeah. There's underscore in between. But yeah. Barca 2005 or Man U 2008. Bruh, that Man United team kicked us out of Champions League. I cannot forgive that still. But like, I'll go Barcelona. I will go Barcelona. Bindit Odegaard, exactly. Send him back to Faroe Islands or whatever. What phase are Arteta in for me? No trophies again. Yeah. My Twitter is, well, should be like that. Should be like that. Gyokeres will be unreal when he's fully fit. Yeah, when he kicks into gear, he picks up his fitness, stamina, and all this stuff. He should be great. That also should kind of align with the team figuring out how to play with proper number 9. It's going to take a few weeks, unfortunately, but if once that happens, it could be quite nice to see. I'm going to tell you that much. Arteta will always play Havertz over Gyokeres for the man. Dude, after that goal that Havertz scored today, I'm very scared that will justify, that for Arteta specifically, will justify him starting Havertz over Gyokeres. I'm kind of scared about that. And if that happens, let's be real, pretty much whole Arsenal, I cannot speak like that even, big part of Arsenal fan base that are on the fence regarding Mikel Arteta are gonna kind of shift on Arteta out situation, because at the moment, based on that Gyokeres nearly scored a hat-trick to some extent, if you look at it, the chances he got, let's be real, he could have scored a hat-trick, at least a double. There are no excuses not to start him in that game. If we don't get a left wing, then just play Madueke. There might make Martinelli perform better knowing he has competition. Yeah, like it's also refreshing for a change to see a left-footed player on the left, because in Mikel Arteta's vision of the game, left-footed player plays on the right so he can cut in, and right-footed players on the left so he can cut in. And I've been saying also this for the longest time, that Arteta should change wings sometimes, like De La Fuente does for Spain and all this stuff, and other big managers do, just throw opponents off. And for example, so you have your player with the strong foot on the outside of the pitch, so he can cross instantly. Or if he cuts in, it's a bit different, obviously, but both of our wingers have very decent weak foot. So it shouldn't be that obvious if we can see it, why Arteta doesn't do it in those terms. I would love to see more, let's just say, left-footed player on the left and right-footed player on the right. it would throw a different dynamic at the opponent. Because many times when you actually watch how defenders play, or managers set up teams, they kind of cater to the winger that's going to play. Hence why sometimes you can see Mikel Arteta put a right-footed defender on the left because, for example, Salah likes to cut in a lot. Hence why the game 2 years ago, he put Tomiyasu on the left because when Salah cuts in, Tomiyasu's right foot, which he tackles with, is on the outside, which gives him better chance of tackling the ball and dispossessing the opponent. Like, it also would be nice. Get rid of Trossard. I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather get rid of Martinelli, to be honest. How do you get... Well, go for it. Think of it. You have to think of it. It's very hard to think of it these days, but for the longest time, yeah. Eze is not a left winger. Eze is a number 10 without shadow of a doubt. You're right, he's a number 10. But yeah, Arteta wants him at left wing. That's obviously a different story. Would Rodrigo really come to Arsenal? Like, on a loan, maybe, not sure, but he comes. The thing is, if Rodrigo comes to Arsenal, Rodrigo's loan move apparently would be with obligation to buy. That's what Arsenal would suggest to Real Madrid, a loan with obligation to buy next year. 80 million or whatever, right? And Rodrigo would start instantly. There would be no talks about Martinelli, Trossard, Madueke. Nobody would give a damn about them. If Rodrigo would come to Arsenal and he would sign for Arsenal, he will start immediately, without any questions asked. Let's just put it that way. Because there are no reasonings for some things not to happen and some things not to start, not to play, and everything. It's a bit different in those terms. Let's just put it that way. It's a bit different because he is levels above everyone else we have on the left wing. Wouldn't surprise me if Havertz starts. It's Arteta. Dude, if Havertz starts, I might even not watch the game to some extent. Nico Williams is a scrub. Like, Rice, a double pivot. Yeah, 100%. Because with Calafiori playing left back, actually, today, we saw this instance where Rice actually drops deeper in the 6 and Zubimendi pushes up in that 8, a bit more forward-thinking 8, because Calafiori kind of goes into attack. With Calafiori, we get more attacking threat. And if Zubimendi goes up, it gives us also a chance to spread the ball and pass through the attack. With Skelly, obviously, we invert instantly, and just Declan Rice just bombs up to that left 10 role, sorry. And it's really disrupting some things because I've been saying this for quite some time that Arsenal are doing this thing where Arteta specifically are doing this thing where I forgot what I was about to say. Fuck me. Excuse my French. I forgot what I was about to say. How does this happen? I'm not that old, for fuck's sake. Might be the 5 beers, but that's a bit different story. But yeah. Yeah, about Declan Rice. I've been saying this for the Declan Rice for the longest time, that we are doing things with Declan Rice, that he is not used to doing, accustomed to doing. He cannot do them. Especially playing in that advanced 10, in the left 10, we are asking him to do things that he cannot do to some extent. Yes, he has some passing ability, shooting ability, some technical ability, but he doesn't have proper number 10 ability to dribble in tight spaces, to dribble between players, to shoot properly, to distribute the ball. And hence why it feels like our attack sometimes is a bit hampered, to say the least. But yeah, well, give me a second. I need to check something on the socials. But yeah, moving on. But if Havertz does start, at least it will make the tide turn on. Yeah, in those terms, yeah. But sometimes it feels like there is no pressure on Arteta whatsoever, does it? To be honest, think about it. Because the pressure on Arteta is only from fans. And not all of the fans, just a specific part of the fan base. Because when you look at how Mikel Arteta is sitting next to Josh Kroenke and all these men, he's laughing, he's chatting, they're braiding each other's hairs pretty much and all this stuff. There is no tension whatsoever, to some extent. Let's just hope there's more changes and other off stuff happen, and it's positionally. Yeah, one thing Arteta, like, it's scary because we can revert to that back quite quickly. You're right. Left foot, left, right foot, right. Maybe switching Saka Martinelli over. That's why. Yeah, exactly. Pep has done it, obviously, and De La Fuente with Spain does it. There are Ancelotti has done it, but I don't think it has done it for Real Madrid. But he has done it. I see Conte on occasion. He has done it, if I'm not mistaken, and it throws off the defenders because you throw a different dynamic at them, and it's not just the same old, same old. It causes a bit of a panic and a bit of a havoc in the attack, which obviously is a bit of a help in terms of when you are the attacking team. Big up, Sean. I think today's game proves just how ineffective Martinelli is. Facts. Even with Gyokeres drifting out left, he didn't do anything centrally or out wide. Yeah, facts. Martinelli, there needs to happen something. I also could see how Eze even at left wing could be extremely effective. Yeah, Eze is not a left winger for me. He is a number 10. At the same time, given how we play, if Gyokeres loves to drift to the left a bit, I can see some, if they interchange a bit, and for example, Eze from the left drifts into that 10 role, I kind of can see something happening there. But Eze is not a left winger. Big up Rob, big up Horton, big up Rob Horton. Kelly playing left big means the left wing has a legitimate opportunity to come into play. Meles narrows the play. Yeah, but we saw what happened with left wing today, though. That wasn't great. Double pivot with Zubimendi with Eze in front of them. Yeah, that would be, for me, an ideal midfield. At least in our situation right now. Rice, Zubimendi, and Eze. And Odegaard just disappears, not doing that celebration. Haaland just put City 1-0 in their Premier League with Palermo. Big up to Haaland. Haaland is also bracing up for a new season, definitely. Don't agree with this take repressure. Havertz isn't bad. Arsenal just need other options too. No, I get it. It's not that those type of pressures. We're talking about more Arteta. I'm talking about more Arteta because competition causes pressure no matter how you look at it. And competition is very welcome and should be a necessity in every team. Let's be real, for every position. More we are talking about the fact that Havertz should not start against United. But knowing Arteta, there is a big situation that this goal that Havertz just scored, there could be a reason behind that for Mikel Arteta to sack him over Gyökeres. Hence, that could put pressure on Mikel Arteta in those terms. Because let's be real, at the moment, I haven't heard an Arsenal fan who said that Havertz should start over Gyökeres. I haven't heard one as of yet. Maybe I will hear over the week, but that's a bit different story. Obviously, we will talk about it then when it comes up. But for now, yeah, we are talking more about the pressure on Arteta. We are not talking about the pressures on Havertz and everything. Because let's be real, as Gyokeres coming in, it should put pressure on everyone. On himself, on manager, on the board, on the team, or everyone. Because as we got told last season by top Gunners, Arteta sexuals, Arteta only fans, Arsenal sign a striker, we win the league. That's what we got told. Let's see what happens. Arteta out, 100%. Big up Nasser, big up Nasser. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Gyokeres celebration and all that. As I plays in a hybrid role, 10 left wing, yeah, at Palace, and he cooks, so might be work at left. Could, but the style that Crystal Palace play compared to Arsenal is kind of night and day, isn't it, to some extent? That is a big thing. You have to look at the system, how other teams play. Gyokeres also gives defenders something to worry about. Saka had much more space. Exactly. That, for me, is one of the biggest things. Because Gyokeres, as we talked about, likes to drift a bit to the left in the box, which kind of reshifts the defender's focus. Let's just say 2 center backs, a bit focus on each side, depends. And that kind of doesn't allow as much for other team to double up, triple up on Saka, which also should mean that left wing spot is much more open, less eyes on the left wing specifically. Unfortunately, based on how Martinelli played today, wouldn't tell that. Genuinely would not tell that. Fair point. I love that there's competition for places. 100%. Also, Havertz's record against big teams is very decent. We are undefeated against the big 6 for a reason, and Havertz's numbers are there, yeah. But, undefeated against the big 6 and all this stuff, it means nothing at the end of the day if you don't win anything, does it, to be honest? Because for Arsenal, no matter how you look at it, big 6 games haven't been the biggest of issues over the seasons. And it doesn't matter if we talk about Emery, we talk about Arteta, Ljungberg, Wenger, George Graham, and all these guys, right? Obviously, those times are a bit different, Our biggest issues have always been the mid-table, smaller teams. that can throw punches, or Arsenal don't take them too seriously. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a mental issue or what, I don't know. But we always struggle at any given time against your Fulhams, Burnleys, Evertons, West Hams in recent times, obviously Bournemouth and all these teams. And those teams we should be beating. But somehow we manage to shoot ourselves in the foot against them and screw up our chances on something, well, potentially big happening. We need a left wing from the academy. If we can find a talent in our academy that can play in the left, we are fine. Well, we could try, to be honest. We have technically, we have wingers. We also could try some other own players there that we have in the team. We just don't. We literally just don't. That is the biggest thing, because that right wing spot is kind of locked with Saka, but which means that many players are not gonna go in there. And I don't see Mikel Arteta putting Dauman there, Vanieri there, even Saka there, for God's sakes. Obviously, Saka has that right wing on lock. But what about putting Saka on the left and Dauman on the right? Or vice versa, other way around. Do something like that. Do something like that. For me, that is the biggest thing. We never do something unexpected. And that is one of the biggest issues. We are very predictable in those terms. Yeah. On the big wages, putting Martinelli was a big mistake. Forced our hand to sell Trossard, who performs bare because no one wants the other. Exactly. 180 grand a week for, well, nothing at this stage, at least. Yes, he scored 9 goals last season. Wait, 8 goals. But it means nothing. It means nothing, because for a player like 180 grand, starting role most of the time, you would expect double digits at least. At least. But it's not happening. It is not happening. Especially after Mikel Arteta comes out and says, "Oh, we share the goals around. Everyone's danger to score." We haven't seen that for a while. Big up Hendon, sadly, Rob. Big 6 games not the issue. It's against the mid-table sides. See, just what I said. 14 draws last season on top of the 4 losses, just not good enough. Exactly. And we lost about 22, 23 points from winning possessions last year. From winning positions, we lost 20-odd points, which is also not great. Never seen a player like Martinelli ever. So frustrating. Head down like an ostrich and never learns from bad games. Always. Yeah, that is the biggest thing. Martinelli hasn't gotten better. He looked electric, fantastic, decent at number 9. On left wing, he was decent to some extent. He hit his prime in 22-23 season. And since then, it's obviously due to injuries, change of system, other things, and obviously mentally, I think he's also scared, or he's maybe I won't say unstable, but psychologically something is not clicking. Right, when he gets in these dangerous spots, he's not as cool as he was, as in my mindset, at least the way I think about this. And he has gone down very dark road at the moment, and it's not helping anyone. Maybe he's too much into his own head to some extent, maybe. Who knows? But at the moment, it looks like Martinelli is not it. And the nuts part is, if we sell Martinelli and he goes to other teams that play, let's just say, attacking football, counter-attacking football, with open spaces and gaps, he's going to be fantastic there. Let's be real. It's just the way we play specifically as Arsenal Football Club under Mikel Arteta in this instance is the thing that's not doing him good. That is the nuts part. He'll put Dauman on the... try. Why not? He was good under Emery, yeah. That's what happened to him, yeah. Under Arteta, smaller teams have been an issue. Under Wenger, we are getting bad against the big 6. It's the low block now, and that's going to be the sort that Arteta lives and dies upon. And that low block, that low block has been an issue for years, to say the least. It's not just it's just one-off. It's not just it was only last season. It's been like that for, 2.5 years now. And we are going into the 3rd. Because remember when we played that expensive attacking football, right? 22-23 season. There was one game which we played at home against Newcastle, right? And in the first 10-15 minutes, Newcastle tried to go us toe-to-toe. Instantly, it was ping-pong tennis type football. And we had about 3-4 chances, if not even more, to score, and we missed them all. And after that, Eddie Howe saw that, and he instantly changed the system for his team. He put a 4-5-1, he put a mid-low block, he packed the midfield, and the game ended in 0-0. And since that point, more and more teams started to use that against us. Smaller teams, Porto, obviously in Champions League, Europa League, it was, Sporting Lisbon and all these teams. They started to use that against us because it gives fruit. And since then, Arteta hasn't hacked it. It's been almost 3 years now. It's very, very frustrating that in 3 years' time, we haven't figured out, well, Arteta at least, how to beat the low blocks. That is a big, 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 big issue. Daman can't play in the Premier Champ. No, he can play in Premier League. He can, because as well that Wanjiri also played when he was 15. In Champions League, he cannot. I think in Premier League, he can, if I'm not mistaken. The Premier League has no minimum age for players, while are there restrictions of signing players on. A 15-year-old player, Ethan Wanjiri, has even made an appearance. See, 15 years old, so Max Dauman easily can play in Premier League. In Champions League is the 16-year-old rule. Low blocks are critical massively. I know, but he could still do that. Yeah, 15 likes, bigger people. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Our academy is great. We just need to give them chance to prove themselves. Exactly. Our academy has, specifically in the, you don't see this too often. I guess you're like La Masia, Real Madrid, or Ajax academies, or all these places. You don't see that much talent which has ceiling, like literally in stratosphere, come out of academies. You don't see that much. And Arsenal specifically in the last, I would say 5 years, have about 4 or 5 talents come out of academy with that type of level, which you don't see too often, do you? The nuts part is, this manager could ruin them, which is a very big worry for me personally. Very big worry, because you see other managers play their youngsters, like 16, 17, 18-year-olds in their main teams, and they ball out and they grow and they develop. We don't do that. And that is, for me, one of the biggest worries. The saddest part about our left-wing position is that our biggest difference between Noni and Martinelli is that Madueke picks his head up. Yeah, to be honest, the bar for our left wing spot is so low that it's very hard not to do bad in it. You have to do something exceptional to be awful in it. And that has been done by Martinelli over the last year and a half, which is a very big problem. Big up Mubarak, hope you're doing well. 2 players, Rodrigo and Eze, the team becomes well completed. Yeah, 100%. I would still argue we need a left back, but overall, if we sign Rodrigo and Eze and window shuts there, I would be happy. I literally would be happy. I would give that window. Well, depends on outgoings. Like if we sell some play, let's just say we sell Zinchenko, Lokonga, Nelson, and somebody else. Let's just say we sell those 3. Then we sign those 2. I give this window 7 out of 10, 6, 7 out of 10 in that realm. Let's just put it that way. Would you tell me? Oh, Yamal arguments again. Here we go. Youth project, yet we don't do that at Arsenal under Arteta. At least Wenger did that, yeah. And Wenger with the youth project actually played them in FA Carabao Cups and actually got to finals with playing those teams. Obviously in finals, semi-finals, it was a bit different. He had to play the main team so he can actually get a trophy. But he used the youth players quite throughout the competition and actually got results. And that is something you cannot teach. You either have it or you don't. You know how to do it, or you don't. Toto Mosquera looks decent. You can see that he's raw defensively in certain situations. He has some good moments. His pace bails him out when he screws up or someone else screws up, which is quite insane, which is quite good to some extent. The thing is, though, he needs to grow in certain aspects of the game, in my opinion. The thing about this is, though, will he grow in those? That we will have to wait and see, because so far it feels like he's like Kyle Walker. Like you can draw type of a comparison with Mosquera and Kyle Walker, because none of them, well, you will get what I mean, but none of Kyle Walker is not exceptional as a right back, right? He's not exceptional. He's decent. Mosquera, for his age, is decent at his position. The thing that bailed them both out, at least in their prime or in early stages, is their pace. Let's be real. It happened to Kyle Walker. It happens to Mosquera. The question is, how far will Mosquera grow and develop in terms of that he will not solely rely on pace, basically, when he screws up? Because that still is the biggest issue. Because until you kind of forget this instance that you have the pace to bail you out specifically, you will perform much more seriously towards the game. You will look at the game much more seriously because you won't think in that mindset that, oh, I screwed up, my pace is going to save me. You won't think about that. You will actually focus on making the proper tackle, proper pass, read the game properly, so you don't have to rely and utilize your pace. Let's just put it that way. But that's been changing with 1 year endowment, to be fair to Arteta. It has been, but there's still questions. But still Arteta out. And yeah, Arteta out anyways. The biggest thing is, whenever Mangieri and Max Daumann come on, you can tell there's a massive difference. Because for those two people, they have the swagger as a teenager, basically. Their first thought is turn around, go forward, shoot, pass, cause chaos, havoc, insaneness, attack, shoot, score. With Mikel Arteta, it's the straight opposite. You defend, you control the game, and all this stuff. And I'm very scared that the longer Arteta stays here, those things that make Mangieri and Max Daumann unique and special already are going to get coached out of them. That, for me, is a big worry. I don't want Daumann to be another Hutchinson or Aiden Kevin and many other academy players who have left. Yep. And got nothing for those players as well, which is quite insane. That is also insane if you come to think of it. No Arteta interview as of yet, which is quite annoying, I'm not going to lie. But hey, it is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. I don't see why we shouldn't just take 20 mil for euros. So that's euros. That's about 17.5 million pounds for Zinchenko. Lokonga, about 5-6 million. Nelson, Vieira, Trossard, 5 million for Hyde. 15 for Jesus, and maybe even sell Martinelli. That's 100 million. Chelsea just didn't. But nobody takes them. You see, we can just scream, just sell them. We don't need them, sell them. And I agree to some extent that there are some players which don't influence the team whatsoever, like Lokonga and Vieira, for example, right? Just sell them. But nobody wants to take them. That is the biggest thing. If you want to sell them, you need to find a buyer as well. And at this stage, looking at the wages, Zinchenko 150, Lokonga 50, Nelson 100, Vieira also 50, if I'm not mistaken, Trossard 80, Jesus 265 grand a week. Who is gonna take them for those type of wages? Like, that is the biggest thing. The wages are such a detriment to Arsenal in terms of sales, and it's such a big issue that we will basically need to hold a wholesale to get rid of them out of our own hands. Bear in mind that big up my boss. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Happy with the end of the preseason is finally over. Woohoo! Next season Premier League begins. Oh crap. That's basically what it is at the end of the day, especially if the game style and everything doesn't change. How was Odegaard today? Crap. Odegaard wasn't great. I'm not gonna lie. Martinelli and Odegaard need to get sold ASAP. Although Odegaard, with his weak foot, provided a decent pre-assist, since all these top gooners love the word pre-assist, for Martinelli to run in and then pass to Saka. Although let's not glaze Martinelli for those things, because that literally was a 2-yard pass. Let's be real. And Saka just scored an empty net goal, but that's a bit different story. But overall, I'm not going to lie. Odegaard is not it. Let's be real. Big up, Rich. Big up, Rich. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Hope Arsenal have treated you well. At least we won a game. That is nice for a change and everything, right? Right? But Arteta still has to go, right? And all this stuff. It's insane. I'm not going to lie. Go subscribe to Rich as well. Arsenal fan. Spits Only Fact says that it is. Big up, Rich. Smash the likes, people. Listen to him. Smash the likes and subscribe. Martinelli and Odegaard will cause us to struggle this season. The manager will know stuff. Yeah, it will be massive, big point of frustration. Let's just put it that way. I think Martinelli, especially together with Odegaard, will be points of massive frustrations in terms of Arsenal. Unless we can change something in those terms. Unless we somehow manage in the last 3 weeks to sell Martinelli and buy a proper left winger or something like that. They will cause issues at Arsenal. Because no matter how you look at it, they had woeful seasons last year. And it's very hard to imagine and to think that they can be worse than they were last year. It's very hard to think about it, because It seems impossible and improbable as well, let's be real. But at the same time, these players tend to surprise you and not always in the best of lights. So it could be a very long situation. And I'm very worried about the game against United in those terms, because we all know that Martinelli is going to start on the left and Odegaard is going to start in the 10. And yeah, so far in this preseason, none of them have convinced me that they should be starting whatsoever. None of them whatsoever. How much did Brocha go for? Nobody wanted him besides Burnley. Yeah, but fuck's sake, really gonna do this right now? Where is it? Nobody. Europe, England, Chelsea. Brocha was on 40 grand a week. 40 grand a week. Everyone will take him. He has proven that he can score goals as well for Southampton and other teams. What has Lokonga proven in Premier League? Luton didn't want him. Palace didn't want him. Sevilla didn't want him. Lokonga has had 6 hamstring injuries in the last 2 years. Zinchenko, 150 a week, so 3.5 times more than than Brocha is getting. Brocha is also a striker. Striker department in the last few years is as thin as ice. It's almost impossible to get a decent one. So it's also a different story. Vieira, nobody wants him. He's on 70 grand a week. Nobody needs a weak as number 10. High wages are always the issue, because most of the players we need to sell are getting 2 times more than Brocha was getting at Chelsea. Plus, Chelsea can sell players. Arsenal, I don't know. We cannot even do that. Why don't Odegaard play left center mid? He's left-footed, and if Gyökeres sways to the left, it might Odegaard more effective. Well, Arteta doesn't want to break up the triangle of Saka, Odegaard, and White or Timber. Let's just put it that way. He has weird obsession with that. I hate how Odegaard is one-footed on the right when he's left-footed. Yeah, that is the biggest case. Yet Arteta wants a left-footed player on the left 8 spot specifically, just so he can help that left side. Yet he refuses to play, for example, even Odegaard there. And he signs a right-footed left center mid to play there. It's kind of backwards. Sadly, those players like Zini, etc., are on such high-paying contracts that they won't move. It means taking a pay cut, or Arsenal have to basically soften the deal and take basically a loss on the sale, no matter how you look at it. Arsenal are taking loss on most of the players when they sell anyways, but due to high wages, they need to take extra basically damage for those, because they need to somehow compensate to balance it all out. High wages are always an issue when selling, it's fact. Who would want to cut their pay in any job? Exactly. Why would I let's just say I get paid, I don't know, 200,000 a year at my job. Why would I go to a job that pays me half of 100,000 a year? Why would I do that? It makes no sense. Genuinely makes no sense to me. If I was paid 100 grand a week, if someone offered me 40 grand, what would I do? Exactly. That is why would you take 2.5 less wages? Why would you take 2.5 times less? It makes no sense. Like, money is kind of everything. As a footballer, of course, I'm not the idiot who put them these wages, but I blame the bum Edu. It's Garlic and it's Edu partially, but mostly it goes to Tim Lewis and Richard Garlic and all those people, because they do all of those things. Sometimes you need to take the element. Like, the thing is, you'd say the nuts part is sometimes we need to take the L to move forward. The issue with Arsenal is we always take the L and move forward, because we are not a club that is notoriously well known for sales. Chelsea, this transfer window, had made 300 million from sales alone. Arsenal cannot make 300 million from sales literally in 5 to 10 years. Maybe they can, maybe not. That's different, but close to that. Let's just put it that way. That's the nuts part. And that all falls on Edu partially, on Tim Lewis, Richard Garlic, and all these guys who put them on those wages at the end of the day. As football, as a football, obviously, of course. But yeah, people, we won the game. which is quite nice. Obviously, still needs a lot of work to be done. In other news, Al Hilal have unveiled that Nunez is their player. It's all done and dusted. Here we go. And everything. So that is kind of fun to see. But yeah, nothing special is happening. El Kanouche could leave Leicester to Spurs or Leeds. £22.5 million for El Kanouche to Leeds or Leicester. That is one of the latest ones that get talked about. As much as we have Deadwood one, we need to keep... Yeah, like, this is the nuts part. We have signed these Deadwood players on such high wages that we need to get rid of them. But if we get rid of them, we have literally nobody to put on the bench besides youngsters, which is kind of nuts. Don't leave. Exactly. Change has to start somewhere, but we cannot do it all at once, unfortunately. It has to be gradual at the end of the day. It has to take it step by step, no matter how you look at it, unfortunately. I'd rather cancel contracts and rid of these players and their wages. We could lose 98 million and still be... Yeah, we can. 100%. There's no argument about that we still would be within PSR, FFP, and all this crap, right? But we cannot do all at once. It unfortunately needs to be done gradually. Like, we cannot just, right now, we cannot just go into the club and terminate 8 contracts. Like, let's just put it that. Well, let's just say 5 for the sake of argument. We cannot terminate 5 contracts. We just cannot. It's going to ruin us in everything. So tell some of them, I get it. It won't happen all in one summer, but we need to. Yeah, we need to. That's the nuts part. Because it is October 9th, as I'm still alive right now. The transfer window is still open for only 3 weeks. And we haven't sold a single player yet. We haven't sold a single player yet. We have spent almost 200 million this window, yet we haven't sold a single player yet. We have terminated Tomiyasu's contract on mutual agreement, which means nothing at the end of the day. We replaced him with Mosquera. We literally have signed like-per-like players. We got rid of Sterling and Neto. We signed Kepa and Madueke. Tomiyasu left, Mosquera came in. Jorginho left, Norgard came in. Partey left, Zubimendi came in. It's like per like. Only one that has come in is Gyokeres, and that's the only player who has increased our numbers per se, which is kind of nuts to even think about it that way. Nelson should be gone, nowhere near the first team. That's the nuts part. Nelson should be gone, nowhere near the first team yet. Still here. Yeah, I get it. But Nelson in this preseason has looked better than than Martinelli and Trossard combined, which is the nuts part. A guy who has just come back from surgery, pretty much. I care more about their wages being off the books over money coming in. Yeah, I get it. I absolutely get it. We need to get rid of them. But we need also players in the club. We kind of cannot go into the game where we have only 4 subs or 5 subs or something like that. We need more. And obviously, youngsters and everything, all this stuff. But yeah, it is what it is. It will be interesting to see because there are some rumors rumbling surrounding Arsenal that this week we are going to sell like 2 players. Whether it's going to happen or not, go figure. Literally go figure. But there are some rumors regarding that. Time only will tell, obviously. But for now, we are just sitting there and doing this stuff and just waiting. 16 likes. Big up, AJ. Hope you're doing well today, my guy, as well. Yeah, people, like the stream and subscribe if you haven't already. 19 likes. 20 likes. Whoa. How is this? Wow. Yeah, 265 grand for Jesus is insane. Yep. And don't forget, last summer, a year ago, we rejected 45 million bid from Palmeiras for Gabriel Jesus. We rejected it. Yep, we rejected it. Yeah, here is Rich's channel, by the way. Go show him some love. And yeah, big up, AJ. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, people, I think on that note, I'm going to end today's stream. Hope everyone's had a great time. Oh, damn. 850 subscribers. Bless up to you all. Bless up to you all. 850. 150 away from 1,000 and almost at 900. We are getting there. We are getting bigger. We are growing. We are massive, people. Big up to you all who's liking and subscribing. Marquinhos, Tomiyasu, Nuno Tavares are the only ones. And the nuts part is we have only sold arguably Marquinhos because Tomiyasu, we terminated the deal And Tavares was sold last summer when it was loan with obligation to buy. And what makes it worse, we sold Tavares for about 6-7 million. And Lazio this summer rejected 40 million bid from AC Milan. 40 million bid. We could have gone that money. But hey, obviously, hindsight is a beautiful thing, if you know, in those terms. Yeah, big up, Liam. Big up, Liam. Big up, people. I'm going to be heading off. I'm going to go relax, chill. It's Saturday. Need to relax before Sunday and everything. So thank you guys so much for being here. Like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Hopefully tomorrow we get some news regarding Arsenal. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Have a nice evening. Enjoy football. Championship is back. Some second leagues is back and everything. So take care. Stay safe. And hopefully I'm going to see you tomorrow as well on the stream. Peace.